Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
All right, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Okay, on Cyrus Says, we meet Rishi Malhotra, co-founder and CEO of Saavn. We're going through his life and times as usual, but very interesting man. He's an Indian with a real American accent. Very rare. There are only 3 in the whole world, and 2 of them are in Kansas.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
All right, here on Cyrus Says, I talk about equality. Gender equality is the most important thing for me, primarily because I'm on the border of both genders at the moment. But I was thinking, it's about time we eliminate this male-female loo business. Why have separate loos? Why can't we have just one loo? I want to use female loos. I always feel they're more hygienic and nicer. They have a better fragrance about them. Plus, the people generally are nicer. And as far as women coming to male loos, I understand the urinals are a bit of a problem with the height. So I ask all governments around the world, if you can just lower it about 8 to 10 inches, then we can have a sort of uniform code when it comes to using the loo. Women can settle down, mount that dish, do their thing. Men can do their thing because, you're aiming. It's just a matter of aiming, whether it's 6 inches here or there. So I want a uniform, one code, one loo for males and females to live together in perfect harmony. I would end with a distorted version of Bob Marley's song, One loo, let's get together and be alright. And if you're West Indian, please don't come after me. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus Says.
Okay, here on Cyrus Says, we have a very important personality, a man who's got more money in his left pocket than Donald Trump has in his campaign. Well, that's not saying much because nothing is left in the campaign from what I gather, but no, he is a very important person. He is Rishi Malhotra, co-founder and CEO of Saavn, India's leading music streaming service. See how I plugged Saavn there?
I love that, Cyrus. Thank you.
Might as well be deliberate. When I was working for the Congress, I was always saying Sonia this and Sonia that.
Very sweet. Thank you.
Now I'm with the BJP, I'm still saying Sonia this and Sonia that, so things are not working out. But Rishi, welcome to the show. And let me just talk a little bit about who you are for everybody out there. Rishi has led the company, Saavn, that is, through significant and rapid user growth. And this is my words. This is not something I've taken down from some website. And this is not dry words. This is serious stuff. And he's helped to secure partnerships with companies like, and I would like my engineer to play music with every single mention here, Twitter, Facebook, Google, Shazam, T-Mobile, and Sonos. And that was brought to us by Zubin Mehta and the Philharmonic via Israel. Rishi is currently managing partner at New York City-based media incubator. I'm going to talk about 212 Media. That's another thing altogether. And but let's start with him first. There's so much to talk about. There's so many things in his resume, including the fact that he once had a menage with 2 Japanese models over the age of 75. This I want to know.
Sure. We'll save that story for last.
Right at the end.
Very important story.
So that people listen to everything. Rishi, welcome to our show. And let me start by asking you the accent. I love Indians with authentic American accents.
Okay.
Because, growing up in South Mumbai, a lot of my friends would go to colleges abroad and then come back with what I call the half accent, They'd roll their R's and then it would drop. You must have met many desis like that.
Sure.
But you're the real deal. So you grew up in America and you actually are an American Indian.
I'm actually an American Indian. Yes, I am.
Politically correct to say.
Cyrus, thank you for the intro. Very sweet. And thank you for writing that. So yeah, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. In the South, actually.
Elvis's country.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you saying? I'm a huge Elvis fan. Can you sing like him?
I cannot sing like Elvis,
How
but I can
dare
play,
you
I can
come
play
from
guitar.
Nashville? You can play guitar?
Next time you have me on here,
Can you play air guitar just for fun?
Yeah, sure.
No one can see it.
Guys, I'm playing Elvis for you.
You really can play. The way you move those fingers, you can
like
play
that?
Yeah.
So no, I'll tell you the story. So my family's from India, right? My dad is from Lucknow. My mom is from Punjabi Bagh in Delhi. And they moved to the States in 1970. Right, so
1970. I wasn't born yet.
So there you go.
But coming soon.
Coming
no
soon
pun intended. Yeah.
To a country near you, Cyrus.
Yeah.
So they moved here with literally, left the country with $9, and they landed with I think $6 because my dad bought like a bottle of scotch.
And you pay for the
I swear to God, he bought like a bottle of scotch.
Well, good Indians, liquor was very important when you travel abroad.
That's
Fair
right.
Enough. Yeah.
And then he moved to Nashville, Tennessee. So I was born and raised there.
What was he going to do there?
He's an orthodontist.
It's a typical medical story from the 70s.
I was supposed to be in medicine too.
Yeah.
17 years ago, I deferred.
What the hell happened? We'll come to that, but let's get back to Nashville.
Yeah, sure.
So he chose Nashville as in he was employed there?
Yeah, so that he worked at a hospital there. He still practices there, and so my sister were born and raised there.
So is this a Nashville, Tennessee accent?
This is a mix between Nashville, New York, and...
Shouldn't it be more Southern?
Maybe. My dad has like a half Indian, half Southern accent.
I love those.
It's very cute.
I love those.
It's very adorable.
Can you do an impression?
Not really, but... Can I do an impression of him? I don't think I can do a great one, but I'll get you a voicemail of his, and you can listen to it.
So let's hear your Southern accent because it'll bring me back to my Elvis thing.
This is my accent,
Oh,
Cyrus.
no, this is more like a New Yorkie thing.
Let me hear your Southern accent.
I am from South India and I talk like this. My South is different from your South. Your South is deeper South. Oh yeah. No. All right. We won't push you on.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So, we'll move on from Nashville, Tennessee, a little bit to growing up. So you're born and bred there, right?
Yes, that's right.
So you went to school there, obviously.
We went to school.
So tell us a little bit about Rishi, the young man, going to school, wide-eyed, in a, I suppose, skin color being a little different here and there. What was it like?
Sure. So it was awesome. Nashville is an amazing town for schools, for families, and all that, and obviously it's a music town. So one of the things I was actually just telling my CFO, Matt, was with me here, and we were talking yesterday about, you can sort of connect the dots backwards in your life somehow. But music was always something at the center of everything I did. So I started playing guitars and drums and keyboards at a very young age. And Nashville was an amazing place to grow up, and still an amazing town for all of that.
But were you the only Desi kid?
I was one of maybe 2.5 at the time.
So was that a bit of a problem, or was that a bit of a... How did you fit in? Or you just... it's like normal. It's like Benetton.
Cyrus, it's such a good question because I never knew it was different. To be honest with you, when you're younger and you're growing up, you don't see it as different, right? When you get older, somebody puts a perspective that it's different.
When you came back to India, you found out it was different.
Exactly.
It was fine there.
When I came back to India, I was like one of the tallest people here. I said, wow, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't see it as different, and I was accepted, and I think a lot of it comes down to confidence and, having, things that are unique about you, and I think also the environment that you're in. Now, there's thriving Indian families all over Nashville.
Too many.
I don't know if it's too many.
Remove a few of them. It's just all over. So, I tell my travel agent, if you send me to a place and I find Indians there, I want to just go home. What's the point? And they're everywhere. South America. Indians, if you're listening to this podcast, come back home. Don't wander around the globe. It's upsetting everybody.
Yeah, we miss you. We miss you here.
And we notice you. Because you'll be loud, you'll be dropping things, you'll be fighting with your mother and father, and eating home food, which I hate. Yeah, let's talk about Indianness. So was there any sense of Indianness? You're second generation, but parents are very much from Delhi, and you mentioned UP as well. So
100%
spoke Hindi at home?
Yeah, so I didn't speak Hindi. I got yelled at in Hindi and Punjabi, but I didn't really speak it.
You can tell your from
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Can we check your Gali knowledge?
Yes, you can. You can. But let's do that at the end. Maybe we can do a quick slang test. But no, so I understand it actually, which is great. And of course, when I come here and speak to my, my family here and cousins and grandparents, etc. But it was, what was the question again? You asked me a good question. I totally forgot.
My question is, how much of the Indianness was retained?
Oh, Indianness, yeah. A lot. Because in my house, so, one is my parents always listened to things like, Nusrat and Jagjit Singh and this type of stuff. I was listening to Van Halen, Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. Yeah. And then it mixes together.
Nusrat is not that far away. It's a loud rock sound. It reminds me of Bat Out of Hell, the Meatloaf guy. Yeah. He's got that tenor-like voice.
Okay, that's the first comparison of Nusrat to Meatloaf. Okay. Probably in the history of the world.
You're not impressed?
Let's find out from the comments.
Like a Bat Out of Hell!
Let's find out from the comments. Yeah. But yeah, so Indianness was very much there, of course, within the culture, etc. And it was never something that was avoided. It's just something that blended. So it changed. Once, your family grows up there, now you're kind of a mixed culture, you know, and of course, when you come back to India, people say, "Oh, you don't visit enough, or you don't speak enough," and these type of things. But the truth is, today in 2016, it's a whole global world, right? Everybody is
now it's all
mixing.
Done.
It's all
nobody belongs to anything. Let's just
exactly, except for Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. Facebook is the last nation standing.
That's
Everything
right.
else will disappear.
Where are you from? Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Yeah. Facebookistan.
That's right.
Let's not go any further. Yeah. Okay, so let's move from Nashville a little bit now. And so, as a young boy, you do school. Then what happens in college? What do you want to do? Is it a typical Indian dream, the medical dream? I suppose a lot of that was pushed by Indian parents. You got to medicine.
So I don't know if it was pushed or not. I think there's a natural. What happens is you just believe that's the way you're supposed to go, right? So one thing that and it's a great question again that you're asking. So I went to WashU in St. Louis, Washington University. I was pre-med and actually got into. I was going to go into dental school, follow my.
So you're obviously good at studies.
I wouldn't say good. I would say that, I was good enough and got lucky a little bit, Love school.
Lucky as in... Oh, sorry.
Yes.
All right.
I
want to know how Indian boys do in a white world in Nashville, Tennessee with the ladies. What is your scorecard now that you mentioned it?
Yeah, that's good. Well, my wife will be listening to this. So
come on. She'll forgive and forget. Come
exactly.
on.
She's already forgotten.
First time, 14, 15?
Oh, no. It was a little later than that.
I'm talking about pre-med, bro.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Talking about,
me too. What are you talking about?
Stay with the program.
What are you talking about?
I've forgotten about sex. I'm married 15 years. You know what that is.
So I went to Washington
yeah.
University in St. Louis, right, for pre-med. And the interesting thing is, one thing I would say that I've done in my life, and a lot of people have who are doing things that they love to do, yourself included, right, a lot of the community that we work in, is that you have to listen to this, like, compass sometimes, right? Something that says, you know what, I can't be this. I'm not going to be happy doing this, so I'm not going to be the best at it, right? When I started to think about my life, my best experiences were everything from, they're always music related. It could have been in the house, it could have been me playing, my first concert. My first obsession.
Were you like a competitive guy? You won contests and stuff?
Yeah, I played professionally. I still do, But one of my key moments actually has India in it, which was when I got obsessed with music, and I remember it. It was like 1984, and I was on an Air India flight. Okay.
Oh my God!
Yes.
So let's cut to 85 when it lands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they just cleaned the plane, so it's ready to turn around. But just kidding. We love Air India.
We love Air India.
Yes.
Just in case you go back again, they remember you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Rishi Malhotra, 3B, first class. Yeah.
So I fly. It's 1984. I'm like whatever. I'm 8 years old or something. And at that time, entertainment was, there was a loop. They played like 30 songs over and over. That's it. There was no screens.
Yeah, it's like elevator music.
Yeah, people were smoking the plane. No, not elevator. They would do a loop. It would say Frank Sinatra, then it'll have like Jagjit, then it had this. There was one song on there which was Prince, When Doves Cry.
Yeah.
And I heard this song and it just blew my mind. And my mom was like, "Why are you not sleeping?" I'm like, I just waited 30 songs.
And you heard it 36 times.
I just listened to it. I swear to God, the whole flight. To this day, every time I hear it, it reminds me of that. In fact, when Prince just, passed away a month ago, that's what I posted. I said, "Look, I remember falling in love with that song." But anyway, so my entire life, and I'm back at WashU, and then I decide, you know what? I'm going to defer for a year. I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to, I wanted to just get to New York and do something kind of in the business world. And I did.
So in the business music world or in the business world generally?
Just in the business. Basically, non-medicine.
Yeah.
So that was my criteria.
So mom and dad were shocked?
You know what? They were very supportive. I think that, your parents just want the best for you. Now I'm a parent of 3, and I understand it. They just want the best. And they never pushed me, by the way. They just said, "Look, we want you to, have good friends, go to great."
So did you have money? I mean, you just go to New York and...
No, I mean, I will say I didn't land with $9, I mean, $9 is a drink today, right? So, but I went there and I had a job, with a great consulting company. And then over the years, I just kept tuning my career. I said, you know what, I don't like this. Let me move more towards something more creative, and it always kind of kept bending towards entertainment and music, leading me to HBO. I was at HBO for 5 years, building HBO on demand for them. And then to, my family here at Saavn. So
we've got some unfinished business here. You haven't finished your medical degree.
No, I never even started.
Oh, damn, man.
I said I'm going to get... So in the U.S., you can defer, right? You can say I can defer for 1 year.
And come back.
Yeah. So I deferred for 1 year. Now that's become 17 years, so I think I'm not going back.
There you go.
I think I'm okay.
Think I can defer my marriage for a year? What do you think? How does that work?
I think it's a new thing, actually.
Yeah. Give it a try?
Yeah.
I'll be back, honey. 12 months on the dot.
Let's do
Same
it.
Pants. Nothing changes. All right, let's move to HBO then.
Sure.
So, you with the song in your heart, you moved to New York, literally.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what your future is. You just know that you don't want to do medicine.
Yeah.
It's more like, I know what I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you land up in HBO now. What are you doing exactly?
So, sure, and I want to say one thing about medicine. It's not that I don't love it or don't admire it. It's
Too
just
many
that
Indians.
There's a lot of Indians there, but I'm not comfortable around like hospital settings.
Oh, you're telling me?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I hate that.
The smell of it and like blood.
Yeah,
and,
good. See, there's
so
more of us.
If I'm like scared to go to work every day, this is not going to work. So.
I hate visiting people because the moment I get that smell, what is that smell anyway? Why can't they have nice smells?
It's like alcohol, but the wrong alcohol.
Yeah, but it's got a scary tone to it. It's like a horror film. You enter, you get that smell, and you feel depressed.
Yeah, and sick.
And sick. And then there's always people with this low body language. Just because you're dying, for God's sake, man.
Yeah, cheer up.
Put your chest out. Unless they've removed it. Sorry.
So HBO, what did I do? So they were building something called HBO On Demand, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you watch, all these movies and shows.
Custom-made HBO for a special customer, yeah?
And I helped build that. So I built a great team there. I learned a lot, made some mistakes, but we grew a huge business there. And it was fun, man. It was like, you got to travel and, work with great shows that I love, like The Wire and,
You
Sopranos.
meet any famous actors and stuff in your
Yeah,
first stint?
100%.
So
Yeah.
who were the guys you looked up to that you met? What was that like?
My favorite guy that I met was Michael K. Williams, who was one of the actors in The Wire. He was so because at that stage you look up, you see these people on screen and you're just enamored with them. And some of them have attitudes, but when you meet a guy who's like as humble as can be, and literally, when you're talking to them, you feel like you're the only person in the room, and they give you that type of time, you just remember it for life, But I met, a bunch of great, I think, celebrities, and everyone's artists, and it's pretty nice,
And since you're pushing a career in a manner of speaking, do they treat you differently? Then are they friendly? Does Madonna come and do a lap dance for you because you could help her?
No, there's none of that. But no, everyone's very friendly, and I think the thing is, I think people just want to work with a vibe. Right, so it's not about who's the smartest, who's the whatever. Like, people like energy. I think either people give you energy or take it. Right.
So, who are the top 5 women you've slept with in the celebrity world?
Oh, okay. So,
and if you mention
in which order? In order of age, or which order would you like to?
If it's Hillary Clinton, it's Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
It's not my business. Just be upfront.
Well, you pick the only one. So,
come on, make it a fantasy. Just lie.
You pick the only one.
Because you've got the American accent. People listening like,
sure.
In India, if you've got the real accent, we believe you. I'm telling you, I've studied this market. Just have a proper American or English accent, and just believe you.
Sure.
You say what you want.
Sure.
That's how the British ruled us for 200 years.
Well, I won't give you my top 5, but I'll give you my biggest celebrity crush. Who? Is Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's gorgeous, very cool, awesome.
And have you interacted with her?
I never have, but hopefully we will.
Okay, and after that, give us 2-3 more. Come on.
Who else? Okay, my wife number 2 and my wife number 3 as well.
Oh,
how about that?
I wouldn't go 2 and 3 with the wife. That's a huge mistake. Once you go below 1, it doesn't matter what number you pick.
Yeah, there you go.
All the best. You might be stuck in India for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. She may have commissioned my passport.
And Air India might take you for another ride. Just be careful. All right, let's get back to the serious stuff now. So
Sure.
HBO, you start digital distribution, and you see the potential for now this whole digital explosion by now, and you're on top of it. And take us to how you landed up in India and how you got into Saavn from there.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I think it's everything. I think digital has just made everything ubiquitous and cool and given people opportunity, right? So you don't have to just work with a television studio or a film studio. You can build something and just get it to the world, and the world can find it and make you, very successful. So I think how I found it was one of my co-founders actually saw me speak at a conference. And at that time, Saavn was a very different business. It was a kind of a movie and music business, but it was taking the movies and music from India and delivering it to other like iTunes and eMusic and these type of distribution outlets. So we used to go for drinks sort of every month or two and talk about the business. And what I felt was there's a huge opportunity here because we've got this gorgeous country that loves entertainment, that lives by it.
Bangladesh. Just be clear.
Yeah, India,
the one north of Bangladesh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think mobile was coming. We were all using our phones for things. I went from buying CDs to stealing music to buying music to all this stuff.
I miss CDs. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said you missed stealing music. Okay, that's funny.
We didn't really steal music. We just borrowed. We're Indians. It's the same thing, I suppose.
Well, I'll pay you back later.
You'll get it back.
Yeah, I'll pay you later. Yeah. So I think there was a huge movement happening, and I think that me and my fellow co-founders, I think we saw an opportunity there. We actually. A year or two after I joined Saavn, we actually turned it into the consumer business that it is today. And I have to give credit to the most important thing is we have an amazing team. People who have fought with us for years, and these are tough markets, tough businesses, and I think we're really humbled and honored to be where we are today. We have great investors and a great opportunity. It's a lot of fun now, and the coolest thing I think is that. When it's one thing to get big and investors are backing you and your numbers are booming. It's another thing when the creative community begins to come to you and say, "Hey, we want to do something different with you guys," and that's when you're sort of you're in the fabric of the country. So that's where we are now.
I'll tell you what, Rishi, we'll take a quick break and
Sure.
we'll come back and chat. But the thing I want to ask you now, because your compass is all over the place at the moment. I mean, everything. My worry is you're not putting enough attention and focus on porn. So what we'll do is we'll take a break and we'll come back and talk about that, because I really feel that's a market that India needs to now look at seriously.
Yes, very undervalued.
We've denied our sexuality, and we're very sexy people, and in certain lighting, of course, and from big distance, and if you can't smell us. But we'll take a break and then we'll come back. It's Rishi Malhotra, a man who's going to make or break many careers here in India and has already decided the elections in America. Donald Trump.
Hey guys, this is Malika Singhania, co-founder of the blog Stylogram, where we cover trends, fashion forecasts, celebrity style, tips and tricks, and lots more cool stuff. So tune in every Thursday to the Stylogram podcast, your weekly style telegram, giving you the latest fashion and beauty stories that are relevant to you. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Audio Boom, or any other local podcast app. See you soon.
Back here with Rishi Malhotra. I interrupted him in the middle and discussed ridiculous things like pornography. He has never watched a dirty film, and he never will. He's a clean human being with a good heart.
I only listen to Cyrus.
There you go.
That's all I do.
You want to watch my films? They're short and sweet, like I tell the ladies. No, let's get back to Saavn now. So you have this meeting, and you meet these guys. I think, was it Param? Who's the guy you meet, and how does that click?
So I met Vin and Param together, and we, that's how the earliest meeting started. And it was always starting, over a few drinks and talking about what the possibilities were. And then, what happens is you just get attracted, again, to energy and to people and to dreams. And I think we all and the whole team knew that we had a shot at doing something.
Did it count that they were DCs as well? Did that make any difference? You brought more Indian-American guys.
It's such a good question,
top of the globe.
Cyrus. It's such a good question because it has everything to do with it. Because we're North American, South Asians, with very, very deep connections to obviously the country as well as media in the States. It actually helped us build what we're doing. So a lot of what people used to tell Saavn and all of us in the beginning was, well, how do you build it from there? And we said, well, we're actually using all of our lessons learned from HBO and building media and technology, the best engineers out of Silicon Valley, and we're building something from the roots up. India at times loves to just market first, right? Market first and figure it out later. We said, no, we have to build something this way. And now, look, we're 170 people. Mumbai is our biggest office, and, it takes time to build it, but here we are now. So. Yeah,
but when Indians get together, the first conversation would normally be how are we related and all that, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
So let's get that out of the way.
We only hire relatives.
Then who's going to pay?
We only hire relatives.
We hire relatives and they keep coming out of the woodworks.
That's right.
As you speak.
That's right.
And but then you suddenly, did you ever think, this is not a racist question, but I'm fascinated by this. Growing up, did you ever think that Indian guys would be taking over all these brands and starting with these new dreams in the air, which didn't even exist when you were growing up?
Yeah.
But did you think we'd be in the forefront? I think that's the right word to say. That Desi boys like yourself would actually be running it.
Yeah, I know I never thought that, but I definitely knew, and I looked up to people like David Geffen and these kind of
Indian?
idols of the world. Exactly, yeah, David Geffen sing.
David Geffen sounds
exactly. But I think what I knew is that, and what we all know is that hard work, right? Hard work, dedication, not giving up on things. It may sound corny, but it's how every business is built, and that will definitely float and rise to the top. And I think that's what happened. I think what happened naturally is what you just mentioned before, is that, Indians sort of became everywhere, right? And there's a certain work ethic, I think, that also we have that, half of our company works 20 hours a day, not because we tell them to, but because there's a love for what we're delivering. That pays off over time, and I think it just so happens in the arts and in music and comedy with Aziz Ansari, you have, these great things. And I just look at them as successful humans, not as Indians or whatever. I think that's the way to look at it. Okay. I think the world is actually
last
screwed
racial
up,
point. The only thing is, do you get that feeling that the momentum is with Indian people, whether it's entrepreneurs, whether it's investors, whether it's creative talent, marketing, sales, whatever? Do you have that feeling? Because we get that feeling sometimes in the last couple of years. Guys like you come, and it's suddenly it's a different world from the one that we grew up with all the famous names were, well, for lack of a better word, American, ethnic Americans.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can say that at the same time, I think Amitabh is probably recognized in, every country in the world, right? Yeah. So, actually, I think...
And we're talking about Amitabh Saxena, who's just a marketing guy.
Of course.
With Google.
Of course.
Exactly. Even bigger than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think actually India has always been the biggest entertainment market in the world. It has always been that. It's just now there's a spotlight on it, and I think its attention is coming because of access. I think because there's something beautiful in the country also, which is that, a large portion are multilingual. You can do business in English, and of course, there's so much regional language here too. There's just a ton of opportunity, right? And I think the thing is, it seems like all the attention started now. It started years ago, really. It started years ago, but it's just really in the highlight now, and it's awesome for the country.
You just get the sense that the Desi guys are in the right positions now, almost ready to spring. So to speak. Maybe even the Chinese also, but definitely us. But Indians, just coming back to the whole India thing, the other phenomenon about us, are we voyeurs by nature? I always feel that we are actually the best market if you want to do anything, because we love taking entertainment in. We're consumers we're just there to look.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how we stare?
Yeah. I get stared at all the time.
Not you guys. You're American Indians, so you're different. But when you come here, you just notice we just stare at people on the road. We don't mean to be hostile hostile.
Yeah.
But we love looking.
Yeah.
And that's entertainment for us. So Rishi's walking on the road and if your American Triumph comes out, 10 guys will be like,
exactly. So, you know what? We get stared at all the time. Everyone stares here. But isn't that even better than walking around with everyone looking down?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of countries are like. There's a certain energy in India that you can't understand unless you get off a plane.
It's also American tourists in Japan.
Yeah, sure, exactly. But it's true. Like eye contact. People maybe here it's over eye contact because everyone's staring at you.
Stare.
But we must be staring back if we see them.
Yeah. No, I watch from my air-conditioned car. I like to watch the poor. Watching poor is a lovely thing.
You watch from there.
Yeah. I throw money and make them run and fight over it, and it's just. But
you can walk around in New York and not make eye contact with people as well. So anyway, there's a beauty in it.
When you mentioned that, I spent 4 months in New York, by the way, and it was scary. I used to wear a cross. Rishi, true story. I was about 20 years old. I was in an acting studio, Lee Strasberg. Could be the next friggin' Brando. That didn't work out.
Okay.
But anyway, wear a cross. My hair was longish, and everywhere I went, the women would look away. All right, I think they just figured I was Puerto Rican because they speak to you in Spanish for direction.
Well, were you wearing pants or no?
I was wearing pants.
It had nothing to do with the cross.
I was wearing pants around my neck. Maybe that didn't work so well.
Yeah, sometimes some women don't like that.
Very funny culture in New York.
You have to find the right woman. That's it.
I've changed genders. I don't care anymore.
Oh, okay.
If you're a snake, you're good enough for me. But, New York, just mentioning New York for a second, was just like a different world. Yep. There was a lot of, again, I don't want to sound racist in any way because I love New York, but there was no, so they would say, please, hello, thank you. You'd buy things and, the lady would always have a one-word conversation, be very pleasant, but the contact would end there. So sometimes I just felt that, nobody cared enough. But you come here, we'll hug you, grab you, kiss you, pull you, and in a sense it works with the entertainment as well. We really want to consume everything and you become a star overnight in Indian eyes. Yeah.
I mean, in Indian eyes you do. And I think also it's, people always say, India doesn't want to pay for things. That's actually not. I actually think it's not true. I think they want value. India wants value, right? So if things are not, not to take this all the way from racism to piracy, but if you look at
what a pleasant conversation we're having.
We're doing well over here.
The United Nations. Yeah,
maybe
and Cyrus.
You and I should run for office.
There you go.
I think that when you look at a country like this, which has produced so much, right, so much art and so much media,
and so many kids,
listening to that art and media, but to have it so unprotected it's not good for the country because really it affects the GDP of the country. If you look at the U.S. and building content and the licensing and everything that happens from it, there's protection against these things. Although people do steal, here and there, it's a minority. Here, if that's protected, Digital India becomes a real thing. And I think that's something that will happen over the next few years. It will change the country. It will change jobs. It will change, the livings that people can make, so that not everyone has to be a doctor, engineer, or whatever it might be, or an accountant. Not that any of those things are bad. I'm just saying.
They're terrible. Why are you lying? They're terrible. They're dead professions. Don't do that anymore. Kids, if you're listening, no longer be an accountant or an engineer. What happened to that world?
You know what's amazing is that in this little broadcast, you and I have managed to alienate nearly everyone on the planet. So at least it's you and I here.
We're a really poor man's Howard Stern attempt. That's what's happening. We've been as racist as we can, as homophobic as we can.
Sure.
We've attacked women, beginning with the loo thing. I mean, who wants women to mount loos? I mean, who does that? But okay, that's another story for another day.
That's another
let's get back to the life of Rishi Malhotra. What do you foresee music distribution to be like in the next 5 years' time? Music has just changed completely, and I think that's a very important arm of yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's going to happen?
I think everything changes. I think one is the mobile phone has, if you look at an hourglass, the center of the hourglass is a mobile phone. So everything has just, become
How does the musician make money? A new guy.
Sure. So this is the amazing thing. Going back to your question, Cyrus, what happens is it used to be in the country, everything had to be with film. Right, so even if you had a great musician who wrote an amazing song in Delhi, it had to be. If it wasn't a film, it went nowhere. Then you have things like Saavn, where artists can go completely over the top, as it's called, right, and they can just go straight to millions of users. We actually just did it with this guy Nuclear, right? Nuclear is the man. He's amazing, and
he spells it wrong though. He should get his spellings right. This is Delhi. Delhi in English has always been a challenge. I've noticed that. Nuclear, yaar.
Yeah,
Nuclear.
Yeah, I'll tell him. I'll tell him that he spells it wrong.
Aggressive man.
No, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But we took obviously he's worked for years and he's built some amazing art and he's just an incredible guy. He just people just go mad at his shows.
And his story. Sorry to interrupt. His story is also from what? From a room in Delhi.
No. He actually he's from Agra. He lives in Goa, but he's actually been touring and these the festival circuits, if you will. But he had, online, he had, I think, very few downloads, maybe 5,000 album downloads of his last album on, I think, Bandcamp or something like that. And, we heard him in November. We loved him. We reached out. And,
so how you heard him by, default?
No, we heard him. I'll tell you what happened is that a lot of our office went to NH7, the Weekender, right? That Vijay and team put on. And for those of you who are listening who don't know, it's the biggest festival here in India.
Or it's a highway, so be careful.
Yeah, or it's a highway. It's one of the two. But basically, the next day, everyone in the office came back at 1 p.m., completely hungover, reeking of, whatever, and all the 20-somethings. And I said, wow, that's awesome. These guys all came back from the show. They actually came back in the office. So I said, guys, who blew you away, Everyone just said Nuclear, and that was last November. So anyway, we reached out. He had this new album out, and we pushed it. And literally within one day, we had him. He's a number 4 streaming artist on Saavn. Arijit Singh is number 1.
Arjit's the guy who's just apologized to Salman Khan 45 times.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's amazing. That's another story we'll come to in a second. I don't want to interrupt your flow. Yeah.
So we that happened, and then even actually in April, let's say an international artist, Justin Bieber he's one of the most popular right now. But in April, Nuclear beat Justin Bieber streams on Saavn.
I hate Justin Bieber.
I love Biebs. I love Biebs. That's the case.
Okay, I also love Bieber. Just give me the signal.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So we're on radio. You guys can't see the signal.
We love Bieber.
Yeah, but the thing is,
now put your signal away.
Exactly.
Don't be vulgar, yeah.
But the thing is, I think that's what's happening. So you can basically...
how does he make money on the downloads?
So how he makes money. So one is that everybody gets a per stream fee, and it can vary per artist, right? If it comes from a label, it may be a different deal than it comes direct to an artist. But there's an economy created for everybody. So I think one of the beauties of this is that how would he make money before, right? You could only do live shows, right? Live shows are big, but then you need to get more people to your live shows. So you get distribution, you have everyone listening to on your phone. It's now a naturally trending album and artist, and he's a naturally trending artist on Saavn. So he'll get per stream fees for that. And the difference is this. If you talk about, I know we mentioned Bieber before, how is Justin Bieber, who's now one of the top performing and top producing pop stars in the world, how is he discovered? Anybody know? Do you know how he was discovered? YouTube.
That's right.
Okay. Same thing with some of the top artists right now.
People thought he was a female performer first. It was hilarious how it just changed completely.
Yeah, it was a big problem until YouTube, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's what the power is. So you can literally have somebody who's building a track right now who just got a Mac and is building Divine, right, or Nazy or any of these guys. And what's happening is they're bringing it to the world, and everyone's reacting. And so here's what's being born in India right now. If everything was filmed before, right now in India is the first Snoop Dogg and the first Dre and the first Beatles and everything is exploding right now. That's the way we feel about it. And I think if you look at the festivals, if you look at what people are consuming, just look at fashion, look at what's happening out there, it's true. So,
But Rishi, what happens to Nuclear when he travels? I mean, does it say it on his passport, Nuclear? I mean, how does that work? I mean,
well, his name is Udyan. His name is Udyan. Okay?
Udyan, what a boring name. Thank God you changed it.
Yeah. First of all, he's a friend of mine, so he's going to be really upset if this doesn't go the right way.
Guy. Listen, just pulling
I know, I'm kidding.
Leg, which he doesn't use that much. He's more hands guy. I've seen him perform.
Yeah, he's all hands there.
Yeah.
But look, I actually think you asked a great question because not everything is confined to India now, right? So if we can take him, all of a sudden he's streaming in New York and Miami and LA and San Francisco, which is what's happening. I was just in LA a few weeks ago. I played his music for some of the top managers in LA, and people were like, "Wow," and that's cool, right?
So within 24 hours, he can perform in LA.
Within probably 48.
Wow, that's fantastic. 48 hours. Air India, 48 hours, 24 hours. Conventional American airline. He should have thought it through. Yeah. All right. With a lot of media platforms launching their original programming, how do you think Saavn OG has been? There's so many out there as well. Not to be mean or rude or anything.
Yeah, sure.
There is almost like everybody's starting it.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, that's good that everyone's starting it. It's a matter of who's doing it right. And I think that when everyone's starting it, it tells you that there's an appetite for it, right? Which we know that there is. I think when you're building programming, and again, I'm taking this from my HBO world where I worked on these shows, is you have to focus on, the best of the best. So one of the things that we do is when we meet a new talent or hear a new talent, we sort of ask ourselves, man, is there any number 2 or 3 closest to that, right? And when that answer is no, we kind of know something special, right? Or you just kind of hear something and go, man, if I want that, millions of other people are going to like that, right? And I think it's not only the programming that you bring in. I think it's your relationship with the creators, which has to be really, really key. If I'm like, hey, Cyrus, I need you to do this, but you have to sell Cadbury's every single day. That's just not cool for you. It may be really cool for another brand and another artist, but not for you. And I think what you do is you give people the most creative place to build.
I would sell Cadbury's to diabetes. patients. I don't have a problem at all.
Yeah,
which means we've lost the account.
Well, we lost that account. But,
damn.
But my point is that you bring stuff that people are going to love, bring stuff that you care about. Don't just fill it with junk. Just because you launch original programming is just like everybody who has running shoes saying that they're runners. It's what you do with it. It's how you market it. It's how you support it in the product.
So is it the versatile player who's going to do better? One that gives you every option from comedy to songs to, and I'm talking India specific, of course.
Yeah.
Or is it the guy who gives you just one thing, one genre?
No, I think you want to be an entertainment platform, and in whatever you do, so if you do music, you need to have it all, right? And if you do original programming, you need to have the best stuff in each category, right? Like yourself, Cyrus Brocha, okay? And
adult entertainment.
Okay, if you're doing sports, you want to have the best in that, and I think that's what people react to. And the beauty of it is that you can't tell what's just going to be this lightning hit, right? So all of a sudden, I'll use Netflix as an example. Netflix launches various shows, and all of a sudden, everyone's talking about Narcos, and everybody's saying, "Man, did you watch Narcos?" and things like that.
Yeah, how does that catch on?
Netflix is not paying for you to have that conversation. They're just
putting it out there,
delivering great content that all of a sudden makes people think, right? And I think that's what our approach is, and it makes people talk. And I've already seen it. I've seen things from people who are non-music listeners who are now using Saavn because they've heard, Nilesh Mishra, and now they're listening to music on Saavn. And we see it, it's only been 30 days, we see our stream volume booming that way. And I think this is what's happening. So when you have a country like India, which is all mobile, we're like 92% mobile. Yesterday we were at Facebook, they said they're 95% mobile, right? It's all mobile. Then when you have a Saavn app, you have a cable box. You can tune to any channel you want. And I think that's the way we look at it.
All right, well, let's get out of the technical space for a second.
Sure.
Talk about Nilesh Mishra, a guy you mentioned.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, does he actually talk like that in real life as well? When he's at breakfast, for example, he'd be like, "Ek tandoori chicken, do roti." I mean, I don't know. Does that hangover continue?
So he it's hard to separate it because when you know Nilesh,
but he's like a special, unique sort of guy.
Yeah, he tells
a throwback to the past, but yet fitting in now.
Sure, and he's an amazing storyteller, and he has that type of voice where you just you want to grab a blanket and just sit down and like it's cool, and you're just talking to him about your contract, like it's not even like But he's great, and I just saw him 2 days ago, and he's doing fantastic. And what I love that he's doing is that when things are culturally different. Maybe storytelling wouldn't work in the States or in a different country.
Well, Donald Trump's doing fine.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's doing great. And Donald Trump really does talk like that, by the way, all the time.
He speaks it up on the spot.
Yeah.
I think he's the best improv guy in the world.
He definitely is.
Yeah.
He definitely is. Which says a lot about what's happening in the election. But which we can talk about if you want.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that.
Nilesh,
but on Nilesh, what I like about it is that by the way, he's from Lucknow, which is
home buddy. A little bit for the home crowd. Yeah,
exactly. But I like that he brings that art, to the world. And if you look at how we all travel, you're in the car for 40 minutes, or you're traveling, you're working. You put on stuff that helps you, kind
soothing,
of get into a zone.
Brings you into that area where you feel safe and tranquil and happy.
Yeah, and
without
also,
drugs.
Without drugs.
Oh, maybe
exactly.
with. That's not our business.
Yeah. Whatever you do is
unless
cool.
Cadbury's wants to sponsor the show.
Just invite us. Fine. Just invite us. Yeah. So anyway, I think what he's doing is great. And again, he's one of those. He's top of the class at what he does. And
see, what I like about that thing is when you first put him on, I was just thinking for a second, is this guy hip enough? Because I've met Nilesh, I've done a couple of events with him, and I like his style. But I always thought that it's for children or it's for
Yeah.
But you manage to actually push him into a space where he's for everybody. And where you might be a Wharton grad who's driving back with your fancy job, and then you put on his thing, and his sonorous voice sort of takes you to that Neverland where you're happy.
Sure. And you know what the amazing thing about great stuff like this is? So people will comment. Somebody will be like, "I don't like it," right? Somebody like, "I love it." Sometimes the people that don't like it listen more than the people who love it.
Yeah, it's all lies.
That's just the way it works.
The fact that they're talking about it means something's happening.
Exactly.
So they're ignored.
Exactly.
And I've been ignored.
No longer.
Many Miss India contests. Walked around wearing nothing. Swimsuit round. Failed twice. Damn you. Big chest. Nothing else.
For those of you who can't see, by the way, Cyrus is actually wearing a swimsuit right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that.
And now I'm going to take it off just to make the room a little hotter. Yeah. Now I want to ask you some questions about India. I love, by the way, I've roomed with Desi boys. I like to call you Desi boys, but that's what they call themselves.
Yeah.
And two Pakistani boys who also like Desi boys when I was in New York in 1994. And I must say that one thing, it's the same issues that we have there that we had here, which is different from the rest of the Americans. But let me test you. What's your knowledge of India? Okay, ready?
Okay.
Come on, Rishi.
I didn't know this was a quiz.
Let's have some fun now for 5 minutes.
Sure.
So, I want to test you because I know that we love our India no matter how many generations back your grandparents left for, America or wherever. So, here's your first question.
Okay.
Can you sing any song by Falguni Pathak? Start.
No, I cannot.
Damn you. Can you sing any song by Lata Mangeshkar? Come on. One.
Did Lata Mangeshkar sing Kabhi Kabhi?
Damn it, just sing it anyway. How does it
No,
matter?
I'm not going to sing it. I'm just going to name the song, but
Okay.
I'm not going to, I think, how about that?
Okay, your test
Kabhi Kabhi
continues.
Mere
No, we
Dil
move on. We move
Okay.
on. We give you more stuff.
Okay.
How's your cricket knowledge?
Horrible.
Really?
Yes.
Can you tell me Vishwanath's first name?
Vishwanath?
Yeah. I'm going back to the 70s to give you a
no,
chance.
is it not Vishwanath? I cannot tell you.
Vishwanath's the surname.
Oh, I have no idea.
You won't even take a guess.
No.
I'll give you 3 options. Let's see what you come up with.
Okay, tell me.
Is it Randapa? Is it Gundapa? Or is it Pundapa? He's looking at friends.
I'm looking for a hint here. I have no
Randapa,
idea.
Gundapa, Pundapa. Take a chance, young
I have
man.
no idea. No
Take a
idea.
chance.
No, tell me.
Gundapa!
That's what I was going to say.
Damn it,
You told me
knew
too
it.
fast.
Who is the vice president of this country?
The vice president of this country is...
You're just repeating the question. I know immediately you don't know.
I don't know.
Who is the president of this country? Come on.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
No, that's the prime minister. Who's the president? But prime minister spends more time in America, so you know him.
Yeah, of course.
Who's the president?
I don't know.
Damn it, Rishi!
Lata Mangeshkar? I'm kidding.
Be careful, we're making fun
I'm
of the
kidding.
office.
I'm kidding.
But we're broadcasting from abroad, so
Yeah,
it's
that's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
All right. No, I'm also kidding, just fooling around. Now let's talk about American politics, which is fascinating the Indian viewer here as well. It looks like a 2-horse race, and I say horse because Hillary's not known for her good looks. Hillary,
Oh my
sorry,
God.
Hillary and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The Donald Trump phenomenon, is it something we should worry about now? I mean, now it's really serious. I mean, it just
Yeah.
took
I mean,
a few
look,
months.
I'm not a political expert by any means, but I think that when you look at world leaders, you look for certain qualities. And I think that what's happening right now is really unhealthy for for the world. And I'll tell you my example. And look, I don't know Donald Trump personally, and everybody has certain skills and certain faults, right? Including presidents.
But may I ask off the bat, are you Republican? Because generally a lot of Indian Americans were Republicans.
Yeah, a lot of them were. I'm actually was a Democrat. I think now I'm just independent. I just want to vote for the right person. But I'll give you an example. So, I have 3 kids. I have 7-year-old twins and a 3-year-old. And if certain things are on TV, you'll end up changing the channel, right? Because your kids are in the room. And I can't actually keep CNN or the election coverage on while my kids are in the room because it's just so caustic, right?
Yeah.
And that should tell you something. That's really, really tough.
And politically incorrect.
Yeah, and it's just it just tells you something about what's happening with the energy around it, So in terms of the election, I think it's taken a very strange place right now, and
But Rishi, is it possible that Donald Trump is just full of hot air and all this hyperbole and all this stuff that he does is not really something he's really interested in beyond just getting people to look at him, and that if he does become president, he's not going to really be like a bigot, racist kind of guy who wants to remove certain ethnicities from the country and not trade with certain people and whatever. Is it possible he's just doing that for effect? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I think it's possible, and I think, of course, sometimes people say any type of press coverage is good and things like that, but I think that there's look at past elections or world leaders that we look up to, and there's some root kind of character that is common in them, and again, I don't know him personally by any means, but I think from afar, a lot of people might share, this view that, that's not representative of what is a presidential sort of stance, right? I mean, this is a world leader, and you got to make decisions in tough times, and that affect a lot of people's lives. It's not just business, by the way. It's relations. It's, I mean, half of this is working.
And America is run by Indians, like you and I both know. So you got to be careful about that.
So I should run for president? Is that what you're saying?
It's just a matter of time. Come on.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah.
But I think it's tough, and I think it's a very different election, I think, than people thought it would be, and the whole world is, of course, watching, and look, every country has at moments great leaders and tough leaders. This is an interesting election. Let's see what happens,
All right.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about your personal life. How do you meet the wife and stuff? Come on, give us some of the spicy gossip that we can sell to people on Saavn.
Cadbury's.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Cadbury's will be possible.
ask me.
Amul is coming.
You want to know about my life?
The romantic thing. Where do you meet her? How did it happen? How did sparks fly?
Sure.
Where were you in your life?
So it's kind of a wild story, but I'm afraid to tell the story to Cyrus because I know what he's going to call me after this. So let's see what happens. Okay. So I met my wife through my best friend. Like, he was also my roommate, and so at WashU, and so I went. We were going to Europe for a study abroad program, and I went to New York to visit, him, and then we were going to go to Europe from there. And that's when I met his older sister, who's my wife, Juhi. And So I met her, and it just, it's kind of hard to explain from there. It just kind of, I think happened. That was years ago, and we've been married like 13 years now.
It's a very Indian story, yeah?
Yeah, it's a very movie-like
Best friend,
story.
sister. I mean, this is just typical Chandigarh, man. What the hell, yaar?
Exactly.
Sector 34, I met my friend. Uski band, bahut badhiya hai, yaar. I liked her.
So there you go. So you can just see we're not, we mix Indian and American culture.
Is she anything like you? Is she interested in the music scene, the entertainment scene?
Yeah, she is. She's awesome. She's a social worker in New York and a mom of 3, and she's amazing.
Social workers, how she met him.
Yeah, and she's awesome. She's different, than me in good ways, and I think you need that. I think you don't, it's not always about the same styles, coming together. And
how do Bill and Hillary do it?
Yeah, really? Exactly.
And when I say do it, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and I'm not sure that they do.
Please don't answer. Yeah.
I'm not sure that they do, but
they shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's cool. What's amazing is as you get old. I just turned 40 in February, and as you get older, when you're 25, you think you know everything, and you're 30, you think you know everything. At 35, you're like, what? I finally figured it out. The truth is, you just keep learning, and you kind of become more like your parents, and you kind of see what's happening. But when you all of a sudden become a parent and you're responsible for, amazing children who teach you every day, and that you try to make sure that they're safe and, happy people, and you realize there's no way to do that without, your partner in crime. And it's very difficult, to run businesses, travel the world, raise kids, and to do it all, roughly pretty well. Not anything is perfect, but the only way you can do that is with, I think, a partnership like that. So,
in India, with hired help. We use a different theory altogether.
Sure.
We have 62 people working in the house, looking after one fat boy.
So
feed him, clothe him, make sure you clean him, whatever.
Okay, so that's where the economies differ. Okay,
yeah.
That's where the economies differ.
We're the first world country, brother. You should have been here a long time ago. You guys have to learn from us. Just look around. We don't have any poor people, just badly dressed. I'm telling you.
Who stare.
Yeah.
That's right.
I hate that staring. Someone has to stop that. We should tax the staring. That's what I think.
Yeah, we've been in great shape then.
Rishi, listen, you've been wonderful. I think we're going to wrap it up here, but we have a section left called the AMAs.
Okay.
If you want to take part in that as well, we have, I think Amit will come into the studio.
Okay.
He'll throw some questions and we'll just free flow with it.
Awesome. And thank you, Cyrus, for having us, being awesome. And you do a great job. You sound great in here, and it's awesome.
And I look lovely.
You were
10.
hot.
Huh?
You were hot.
They'll never know, so just say whatever you want. Rishi Malhotra. He's with Saavn and he's zooming ahead.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
All right, here, Amit Doshi has entered the building and he's going to take us to the AMAs. Be careful.
Yes, I have. Okay.
Vulgar man. Yeah, go ahead.
So the first question is, what do you think about Karunanidhi losing?
Very sad, very sad. But I don't think Rishi will be able to handle this. Firstly, can he say Karunanidhi?
Karunanidhi.
Okay, they're not two girls called Karunanidhi. There's one person. Karunanidhi. Yeah, well, 91 batting, Rishi. We've got two guys in the elections that just happened. There were just 4 states involved. Two guys. Karunanidhi from Tamil Nadu, 91 batting. The other guy, Achyutanandan, yes, that's his name, from Kerala, 92 complete. And they were poised to be CMs. I would just like you to reflect on that. You want about Donald Trump? We have guys in their 90s poised to take over the country.
We have Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's really old.
That's another youth leader, right?
Huge for you.
Yeah.
160. Sorry, you won that one. Yeah. Yeah, Karunanidhi losing terrible, very sad. I wanted a wheelchair-bound chief minister. I say this with great respect because I just think it just shows that you can do anything in our country.
It shows wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And ultimately, all you need is your brain. Wherever the hell that is another story, but we'll move on.
All right. The second question I have from you is from Matt, who's come with Rishi from Saavn. And his question was, Cyrus, how did you lose your virginity?
Well, the guy was really rough, and it was a kind of time, I just returned from Banaras, so I was going through a spiritual cleansing, and it literally became a cleansing. It was terrible. But I'll tell you honestly, I medicate the girl, the lights are low, she can't tell, and I leave early. For me, romance is always about yourself. I don't include the other person.
And his favorite show was The Cosby Show.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you bring it up, Rishi, come on. Now that you bring it up, take us through Cosby. So what? Is it all true? This what's it? Date rape? What do you call it?
I have no idea if it's true. I think that there's some quantum of people that are coming out of the woodwork.
Could he be innocent?
How can it not be?
How can it not be? But I'm not going to judge that. Look, I think he as a kid, I grew up watching that show,
and he was the most fatherly guy.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, at this point, how can it not not be right. I mean, there are so many similar stories.
And
So
think
many
about it. You
different
only
people.
become a father because of that dirty thought in your head. So it's not like a fatherly guy can't be like that.
No,
I think Cyrus has figured it out. I think Cyrus has figured
But
it
what a
out.
sad thing if a big
It
icon
is
like
horrible.
that.
You know
it's
what we
just-
should do? Cyrus should be a judge in his next life.
I should be
You
the
know?
guy who gets to watch when they misbehave. They're like, Bill, put it away. That's not the kind of Cosby show we're talking about.
He's got 1 year of law school.
I've got
That's all
one
you
year-
need.
1 year.
That's all you need. That's good.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I got.
Oh,
Awesome.
Bill Cosby, what a note to end on. Damn.
I know. Man.
Whatever happened to the son?
Oh, the son.
Kareem what was his
Malcolm
name?
Jamal
Malcolm
Warner. So
Jamal
he's
Warner.
on the TV show Major Crimes.
Oh, so he's still alive and
Yeah,
kicking.
yeah, he
Yeah, but
does-
he's
he
a
does
Cosby
TV.
Show son. He's not
Yeah.
his real son.
No, not his real
Yeah.
son.
He's
no.
got about 180,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Cosby Show son.
Yeah.
From what we hear, there are about 2,000 sons now, so we'll have to just work our way through all of them.
Exactly.
All right.
Hey, Cyrus, Amit, thanks for having me here, man.
You're
Awesome.
welcome, Rishi. I know you're in a hurry. We'll let you go. Don't worry about it. Amit, you and I will play games.
All right.
All right.
Okay, catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Beyond Pod, any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online, and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called me.
And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, time to look at the podcast, Podcast. It's, we have to push the pun from time to time because it's an audio medium. We can't write it for you. Hosted by the DailyPow.com's Purva Mehra, Pranoti Datta, and Amit Gurbaksani. The podcast is your fortnightly lowdown on Mumbai's food and culture scenes. Plus, if you pay them money, they'll talk about your family and other animals.
Our podcasts bring all the boys to the yard, and damn right, they're better than yours. But you don't need to stand outside in the yard. Just follow IVM Podcasts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We might be on Tinder too. Just go ahead and swipe right.